The American Express Gold Card is one of the most hyped up credit cards across the entire internet. But they've just leaked a new refresh. Is this card going to be god tier or is it going to be trash? Today we're going to discuss that. My name is Sean and I'm here with my co host.
Hi everyone, I'm Sherwin, the other half of the Credit Card BS podcast. Today's episode, we're going to be discussing the details of this leak from American Express about this gold card refresh and give our takes on it. So the gold card is the mid-tier of the American Express membership rewards points earning cards. So on the lower tier, you have the green card, the gold card is the mid-tier, and then the high end, you have the platinum card. Let's quickly run down what the current iteration of the card looks like. So it has a $250 annual fee. And the main draw is that you get these pretty high multipliers. You get 4x points per dollar at restaurants worldwide, as well as 4x points on groceries at U.S. supermarkets up to $25,000 a year. And you get 3x on flights. You also get a number of credits, including $120 Uber cash credit, which is broken down into $10 per month, as well as a $120 dining credit, which can be used at vendors including Grubhub, Cheesecake Factory, Goldbelly, Wine.com, Milk Bar, and select Shake Shack locations. A bit of a random collection of places, but you can use that. So arguably, if you value both of these credits at face value, $120 and $120 gives you $240 in credits, against the $250 annual fee. That's effectively a $10 effective annual fee. Now, I would argue you can't value those credits at face value, but if you did, it's a pretty low effective annual fee. So what do you make of this card in its current iteration, Sean?
I mean, I definitely see that it's like overhyped because it's a $10, like even if you fully value the credits, you're still paying $10. And so you're basically paying the $10 for the 4x points, which, like, I mean, I understand why people like that. You know, you're getting 4x points. It's a very, very high multiplier. But I think a lot of people, they don't factor in the fact that they may not spend as much on these categories as they actually think. And also the fact that these credits, even if, like, you're able to fully utilize them, you really didn't necessarily get full value unless you were going to go to these places anyways, or you wanted to go to these places anyways to use the credit. And so I think for a lot of people it makes sense, but it's not like one of these game-breaking S-tier cards that a lot of people like to make it out to be. Compared to something like the Aspire, which I would argue is still an S-tier card, this is definitely like you can break even and come out a little bit ahead card. And, for some people maybe a decent amount ahead, but it's not like, oh my God, this is, fundamentally game-breaking card.
I agree. I mean, for me, even before these changes that we're going to discuss in a moment, this has always been an overrated card to me. Yes, 4x points is nice, but marginally, it's not that much more than 3x unless you're spending actually so much on restaurants. Furthermore, I dislike that the credits are broken up into monthly increments, especially at these random dining locations. It's hard to say that, like, even if you went out to eat once a month, just use that credit, you're probably not going to capping yourself to $10 and you're going to be paying more out of pocket anyway. So, I don't really buy that it's a $10 effective annual fee. But let's move on to this new leak, which we now have confirmation of. So they're increasing the annual fee by $75 to $325. But in doing so, they're going to add a few more credits. So Sean, do you kind of want to talk about these changes?
Yeah, so they're going to have like a public launch sign-up bonus of 60,000 points plus 20% back on restaurants up to $100 back. Not that great, to be honest, because, if you go to Incognito, you go to other methods, you can find significantly higher offers, even on the current gold. So nothing that amazing because that's just the
we've
public
seen
offer. You're getting the public
historically
offer.
up to 75,000 or 90,000 points, sometimes including the 20% back in restaurants. So 60,000, I mean, it's a very solid bonus for a mid-tier card, but it's not the highest we've seen. If they're going to launch a new thing, I would have expected an all-time high bonus, frankly.
Yeah, I mean, you'll still probably, if you go through Incognito and stuff, I'm sure you'll be able to get like way better offers non-publicly. But it's odd. Okay, so the other perks, they're having a white gold card option. If that's, I mean, a different looking card, I guess. And then, this is where it gets weird. Okay. They're adding, and sure, what's your opinion on this? They're adding a $7 a month Dunkin' Donuts credit. Oh my God. Is this is this the end card? Is this everything we need in a credit card? I've never thought I didn't know they could make a card this powerful. How much, they must be losing a fortune on this. Wouldn't you agree?
Well, I mean, if you go to Dunkin' Donuts, I guess that's a W for you. But like, also like monthly, come on, like why would I want to go to Dunkin' Donuts once a month just to force myself to use it? $7 too is not that much. It's probably coffee and a donut. Might be even less in the Bay Area when things are so expensive. So I'm not impressed. I think they probably just bundled this in to make the effective annual fee seem lower. But I bet Amex is barely paying any money for this credit, and Dunkin' Donuts is sort of subsidizing it for like marketing or advertising purposes. So I'm not impressed by this addition. I think it's Dunkin' Donuts $7 monthly credit is quite silly.
Yeah, I find it odd. Like they really couldn't have just coughed up the extra $3. Like you guys couldn't have just made it a $10 a month credit. Like what? Why seven? I get it. Sure, one person it probably pays for like one coffee and one donut, or maybe like two donuts or something. But like, it's just so arbitrary, and it's like Amex is a brand, and we've seen this like with the Platinum and them adding Walmart Plus. I thought Amex is trying to create this like premium tier exclusive brand. I have nothing against Dunkin' Donuts, okay? Nothing at all. I have nothing against Walmart. But they're not, you can't argue they're premium brands, right? Like, I don't think anyone is going to argue Dunkin' Donuts is like a luxury lifestyle premium brand. It just doesn't fit. It's just odd. I don't know. It's bizarre.
Yeah,
The
I
next
agree,
credit,
but also like I don't know, like even like the previous wine.com credit, like arguably, wine is more premium, but it's arguably less useful to me than Dunkin' Donuts. So I think there's still a balance of like usefulness to me. I don't know.
no, I mean, that's fair. So the next credit is $50 twice a year at Resy. So, like, if you use Amex's, like, portal to reserve a restaurant, $50 toward those restaurants twice a year. This is like a very hit or miss thing. If you actually use Resy, then I actually could see this being pretty valuable because like, $50 twice a year, that's like easy enough to use. And it's like a big enough credit that like could definitely make a difference. But really is the question is like, are you using Resy currently? And for me, I have never once reserved a restaurant on Resy. Not once. So I don't personally find it that valuable. How about for
Yeah,
you?
I mean, maybe it's their way for you to try out that platform. I mean, I think I first of all, I'm very glad this is not a monthly credit. I can't imagine, trying to figure out where to eat at least once a month at a restaurant in Resy. But still, my other concern is that with the semi-annual $50, my understanding is that restaurants you can reserve at Resy are usually higher end. So I'm not really sure how much $50 is going to get you for a meal at one of these restaurants. But nonetheless, if you like fine dining, if you're open to using this new platform to try booking reservations, it could be potentially pretty easy to use. So again, hit or miss.
Yeah, I feel like this is definitely like one of the more like this is a fairly usable benefit, but it's like it really is circumstantial. And then okay, another con of the card, and this is a kind of, for most people this won't make a big difference, but for the people that it makes a difference to, it does make a big difference. The restaurant 4X spending category is now capped at $50,000 of spending per year. Now, 99% of people watching this are going, that's fine. I, probably don't spend 50K at restaurants in 2 or 3 years, let alone a year. No big deal. But for the people that were probably spending over that, you were probably spending significantly over that. And to have that like limited, I think is a big thing because like, if you're spending over 50K a year at restaurants, you could probably hands down like justify this card, even like ignoring the credits and stuff. But like now the fact that they're capping it I mean, it's not a huge deal for most people, but it's
I mean, I would
interesting.
argue if you're spending less than $50,000 per year at restaurants, like most people, this card probably doesn't even move that needle that much for you in the first place. And if you're spending more, of course, you're taking an L. So that's just my take.
Yeah. So another
Okay.
weird change. Oh, so yeah, you can get this one.
Okay. Another thing is they're removing Milk Bar and Shake Shack from the food credit, but they're adding Five Guys. So this is the $10 per month dining credit. I mean, I've never used Milk Bar. I really don't know what it is, but they're removing it. And I don't know. I don't have a strong opinion about Shake Shack versus Five Guys. I don't know if you do, Sean, but that's what it is.
I mean, I don't like I prefer Five Guys personally, but like there's more Shake Shacks around me. So it's like it's frustrating because it's like this was already a credit that like I frequently forget to use. And it's a credit that it's like I'm really forcing myself to use. And now it has just gotten a little bit more difficult to use. I like Five Guys, but it's like, do I even want to go there once a month? No. When I go there, am I
Yeah,
spending $10? No, I'm spending more. Like it, I
yeah.
don't
I
know.
mean, my biggest issue with this, I mean, was that it's monthly. I don't even hate these merchants or anything. It's just that it's monthly, and I have to deal with it every month. Like that just makes it un like so inconvenient to me. They're keeping the $10 monthly Uber cash credit, which I think is fine. But overall, so if you add up the $7 Dunkin' Donuts credit, $50 semi-annual Resy credit, and then the two $120 credits monthly that they're keeping, uh, even with this higher annual fee of $325, now we're actually at a net negative $99 annual fee, effective annual fee, as opposed to $10 effective annual fee. So I guess if you are the person that does use Resy and will go to Dunkin' Donuts every month and will use the Uber and Five Guys credit every month, like you are coming out ahead with these changes. But if these credits are much more inconvenient to you, this may be a net negative. So let's wrap up here, Sean, talk about our overall take about this. So as we shared, we both think that the gold card was overrated to begin with, and with the new complexity of these credits, it arguably just makes it worse. And we've seen this with Amex recently, this new pattern of this coupon book approach, where they increase the annual fee, but they add more credits. So some people argue that you're actually getting more value with lower effective annual fee, even with the higher annual fee. Some people argue that it's just forcing you to spend more money you otherwise wouldn't have spent. But it has been a profitable strategy for Amex. We saw that with the Platinum card refresh a number of years ago, and the number of cardholders has skyrocketed. And we saw them do this with Delta and Hilton recently with those co-branded card refreshes. So we're seeing more of these credits becoming biannual, quarterly, monthly. So what do you make of this, Sean? Are you team coupon book, higher annual fee but more credits, so lower effective annual fee, or do you prefer paying more annual fee, or not a lower annual fee but arguably more of an effective annual fee with fewer credits?
So for me, I have no problem. Like anyone that knows me knows I have no problem with high credit card annual fees. And I don't even mind when it's like certain things where it's like, okay, the Hilton card, I think is a great example of this. The Hilton card, you get the free night certificate that could be worth so much for that night you redeem. And I understand it's like you're not saving that amount of money. If you're staying at $1,000 night hotel, you're not saving $1,000. But it's like I understand there was like significant value that I attained that I would not have without the card. And for this new refresh, like, this kind of what we're seeing on these, I think like the really bad ones are like the Delta refresh and like the Gold refresh. It's like these credits they're adding are becoming so in like, even if, okay, like here's the thing. Even if I like use all these credits, it makes such a little difference. Like, that $7 a month I saved at Dunkin', like you're not, even if you net like a positive here, you're netting $99, right? The most you would net on the actual credits is $99. Compared to something like the Hilton Aspire, where it's a $550 annual fee, if I was able to fully use the credits, which I think are significantly easier to use than this, personally, just given my travel habits, you're talking $400 resort credit, and then you're talking a $200 flight credit. Just on the credits alone, you net $50. But then, like, that would not be worth it in and of itself, okay? No way. But then you get the free night certificate. And then that's what makes it, like, actually game-breaking. Because the free night certificate is worth so much based on the properties you can go with it. It actually is, like, an amazing card sale, even after they kind of did this, like, coupon book refresh. And so I don't mind the coupon book idea, but, like, the coupons have to be good. I am now having to set like monthly reminders to use it. Like for me personally, once my gold annual fee hits, unless I get a sweet retention offer, I'm not going to keep it open because there's just no way that, like, even if I net the $99 positive, it's not worth the hassle at that point. Like the Hilton ones are, because you can use them the way they're timed. Like if you have multiple Aspires and stuff, you can use them in bulk together, right? But this is like, I'm going to only have one of these because the main, the reason you kind of get it is for the multipliers, not for the credits, unlike the Aspire. And it's just not worth the hassle to me. It's like I'd rather, quote unquote, lose the negative $99 benefit or annual fee benefit and just not have to deal with any of this, because it really wasn't, it's not that great. And there's other cards that can replace it.
I think that's a very good point. I agree. Like the gold card now probably is worth getting just for the sign up bonus, and maybe put up with the credits for the first year because you have them anyway. But I would not say they're a no brainer to keep. Instead, I would recommend one of these alternatives. So that I'm going to talk about some alternatives if you're not on board with this crazy coupon book that we now have. Capital One Saver One is a good option. It's no annual fee. Okay, so you don't have to worry about justifying it. And you get 3x on dining and supermarkets and entertainment. Now, it's not 4x, but you don't have to deal with this annual fee. You don't have to deal with breaking even with all these credits. And these points can be combined with like a Venture or Venture X to be transferred to partners for airlines and hotels. The other card that I like is the City Premier, which has a $95 annual fee, but it is the card that unlocks the transfer partners. So much lower annual fee than $325 with Amex Gold. And you get 3x dining, grocery, gas, air travel, and hotels. So it covers all those categories from the Amex Gold and more. Again, it's 4x, it's 3x rather than 4x, but there's actually no cap. So these are all uncapped, unlimited, and they're worldwide. So Amex Gold, the supermarkets, is only U.S. supermarkets, but with the City Premier, you can use it worldwide. And I don't know, I honestly like these cards much better because, remember, realistically, the 4x multiplier isn't going to net you as many more points as you might think, especially with the new $50,000 cap on restaurants now being imposed on the Amex Gold. At max, you're attaining 50,000 more points per year versus a 3x dining card. And you can attain 50,000 points very easily with a single sign-up bonus. So it's not going to move the needle that much. What do you think, Sean, about these alternatives, or if you had other alternatives in mind?
No, I mean, I think these are great alternatives. And I think, if you're someone, like, I think the Premier is actually a really good card because you get some unique transfer partners that, like, you've talked about this before, like Eva Air. And I think that's, like, a really interesting transfer partner, especially if you want to fly to Asia. Like, way easier availability and still competitive pricing. And, it's like, as we've talked about before, focusing on the multipliers, unless you're an ultra, ultra high spender, is not where the money is. The money is in the sign-up bonuses. So, if you want to get something like the Premier or the Saver One just to have that category, that's fine. But, like, what you really should be doing anyways, just getting cards, getting sign-up bonuses, because that's where the real money is anyways. Everything else, if you're not a huge spender, is really just kind of this fairy tale of, I'm going to maximize my spending, but, like, I only spend $20K a year, and so I don't even earn enough points for, like, a round trip economy ticket or something like that, where if you actually focus on the sign-up bonuses, you could be netting significantly more value.
Yeah, I completely agree. So with that, let's wrap up our episode for today. So what do you think of these leaked Amex Gold changes? Are you a fan? Are you not a fan? Let us know in the comments below. Also, if you enjoyed today's video, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel. It helps us out a ton. And if you're interested in signing up for a credit card, please consider using one of the links in our description below. It greatly helps support the channel. And Sean, why don't you plug our Discord?
So if you want to connect with an elite group of award travelers and credit card enthusiasts entirely for free, check out the 100% free Traveling Discord group at the link in the description. You will learn a ton, I promise you. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next week.